And next event that we are going to see is post-fertilization event. Events in sexual reproduction that are occurring after the formation of zygote are called as post-fertilization event. Whatever happens before zygote formation up to zygote formation, gamete transfer, and the zygote formation. This is up to fertilization. But what is happening after the zygote formation? How it is dividing and formation of new organism? It is coming under the post-fertilization events. Zygote formation. All organisms start their life cycle with a zygote because a zygote is a vital link and it is the first cell that is giving out the life and it is connecting between the two generations. Zygote is always diploid. It is a vital link that ensures continuity of species between organisms of one generation to the next generation. This vital link is established by only zygote. In case of external fertilization, zygote is formed inside the it is formed outside the medium. It is forming outside the organism in the external medium. In case of internal fertilization, the zygote is formed inside the female organism. You can say by this where it is more protective because the zygote in the external fertilization is directly exposed to the external environment. It is very vulnerable and the conditions might be very harsh. Whereas in case of internal fertilization, there is conducive environment provided to this zygote which is found in the internal fertilization. That's why many higher organisms have adopted this internal fertilization and internal development of this zygote. If you see here, zygote development in various organisms. In organisms belonging to fungi, algae, this zygote develops a thick wall that is resistant to desiccation and damage. Desiccation means this is drying out. When there is a water scarcity, when there is harsh conditions, this zygote might be drying out and it might become infertile. In order to keep that fertility, they develop a thick wall against this zygote and they resist this damage and desiccation. And they wait until the favorable conditions attain. So it undergoes a period of rest before germinating. And once they find the conducive environment, once they find the favorable conditions, then this zygote which is fertile, it results in the germination later on. In organisms with haplontic life cycle, zygote divides by meiosis to form haploid spores that grow into haploid individuals. Here very important to notice this, that usually we said that zygote is always diploid, and this diploid zygote, if it has to give rise to haploid organism, has to give haploid organism, it has to undergo again meiosis. So if you see here in haplontic life cycle, these organisms, they show predominantly haploid stage in their life cycle. They remain haploid condition. They remain in the haploid condition in most of their life cycle. And in order to produce this haploid, they have to undergo, the zygote has to undergo meiosis again, because zygote is a diploid condition, and in order to give rise to a haploid condition, it has to undergo a meiotic division, that is a reductional division. Whereas in organisms like diplontic life cycle, the zygote, it need not to undergo meiosis, it directly undergoes the equational division, that is called as mitosis. This is very crucial to remember. In haplontic life cycle, the zygote is dividing by meiosis. In case of organisms which are diplontic, which are leading diplontic life cycle, this zygote undergoes mitosis. Next is how this zygote develops further. That is called as next event, that is embryogenesis. Embryogenesis refers to the process of development of embryo from the zygote. Formation of embryo from the zygote is embryogenesis. So here two male and female gametes are coming, and they are fused together and they are forming the zygote, and this zygote is resulting to formation of next stage, that is embryo. And in this embryo, the cell division has to occur to form the embryo from the zygote phase. And the cell division or cell differentiation can occur in this embryogenesis. So these are the two events in the embryogenesis. Those are cell division and cell differentiation. In the cell division, what happens in the cell division is cell is literally dividing. It is dividing in the equational division, that is mitosis. Cell division increases number of embryonic cells. As the cell division occurs, the number of cells that are formed, it keeps on increasing because 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, it grows in exponential manner. Whereas cell differentiation, the cell differentiation helps group of cells to undergo certain modification to form specialized tissues and organs to form an organism. When an organism is formed, when the organism in the zygote stage, it is only one cell, it is unspecific cell. But as it develops further, as it divides and develops further, there are some cells which are becoming dedicated and they tend to adopt a permanent function, permanent size and shape. So this we call it as differentiation. So in these differentiations, cells undergo modification to have a specific function, specific shape of the tissue, and they become a specific organ in the later future. Based on whether the development of zygote takes place outside the body of the female parent or inside the animals, they are categorized into oviparous and viviparous. Here, whether the zygote developing into embryo, whether it is happening inside the organism or outside the organism, there are two types: oviparous and viviparous. Ovi is egg-laying. Vivi is they directly give birth to young ones. Starting with the oviparous. Oviparous, these organisms are egg-laying organisms. So here zygote develops outside in fertilized eggs. In the fertilized eggs covered by a hard calcareous shell, and they are laid in a safe place in the environment. Usually the birds, they show this kind of oviparity where they show that they lay the eggs outside. Once the fusion of male and female gamete, the fertilization is internal. The fertilization is internal, but development of this zygote this development of this zygote into the embryo is happening outside the organism. So this is in the calcium cell, in the calcareous shell, that is protected under the bird, under the incubation period. These birds, once they lay eggs, they sit on them, they provide some warm weather to them, so that uh, these zygote is developing into embryonic condition successfully. After period of incubation, young ones, they are hatching out and they develop into the new ones. Viviparous, this is in this zygote develops into young one, and this is happening inside the female organism. After attaining certain stage of growth, young ones are delivered outside the female organism. This is called as gestation period, and after this gestation period, they give out the young ones directly. In this, you can also say that which is more protective, either oviparous or viviparous. You can judge which is more protective. It is directly evident that viviparous are very protective, because they are providing the fertilization and development of this zygote into embryo. It is happening inside the female organism, inside the mother's womb. Whereas in case of oviparous, the fertilization is occurring internally, but later on they give out the zygote inside the egg, and then they give rise to these eggs outside, and they have to keep the eggs outside, and they have to undergo incubation period before hatching out. And next, in case of plants, if you see in flowering plants, the zygote formation and zygote development into embryo takes place inside the ovule. We said that the two male gametes are reaching the egg, and egg is present inside the ovule. So this fertilization and development of this zygote is happening inside the ovule. After fertilization, the sepals, petals and stamen of the flower, they are withering off and they are falling off. The pistil, usually the pistil is consisting of the parts stigma, style and ovary. These parts are remaining attached to the plant. Ovules develop into the seed, where these ovules which are present inside the ovary, these ovules are developing into the seed after the fertilization. And the ovary that is developing into the fruit with the pericarp. The pericarp is nothing but it is a outer layer of the fruit, that is a wall protective layer of the fruit, and this is protecting the fruit. This is having the protective function. After dispersal, the seed germinate under favorable conditions to produce the new organisms. These fruits which are carrying the seeds, when they are laid inside the soil, when once they attain the favorable conditions, they give rise to the new seedlings. They give rise to new seedlings and they show the germination. And here you see in the post-fertilization events in the plants, these sepals and petals. This is a green part, which is a sepal, and the color part is a petal. These sepals and petals, they are withering off, and only this pistil part, this pistil is remaining. This pistil is remaining in the post-fertilization. And here it is ovule, and this ovary, entirely this ovary, and this ovule. This part is ovule. Ovary is developing into the fruit, and this ovule is developing into the seed, and this is forming into the fruit. And the seed, once it is again falling on the ground, once it is attaining the favorable condition, it gives rise to the young ones, that is new seedlings. Ovary develops into fruit and ovule develops into the seed. Here you see this outer one. P is pericarp. Pericarp means it is the outer protective layer for the fruit. P is a pericarp and S is the seed here. Here you can see in the beans there is a pericarp and inside there are seeds. Here also other fruits and other vegetables, they are showing that they are having the seeds inside and they are having a protective layer outside. This is the post fertilization event in the plants, and here